purchasers right now is unreal because, of course, the market's slow, but you gotta accept that as a collector and take those prices as they are. But, I mean, we got right now is unreal because, of course, the market's slow, but you gotta accept that as a collector and I'm walking around, I've got my black case and then my big yellow case. So those shoulders still hurts from that thing. That thing was heavy, it was big. But, yeah, I'm at a table and I'm talking about the cards they have in their case, and, I get just this guy just standing there, I can feel him just burning a hole in the side of my head. I'm just like, "Whoa, what's" I don't know nobody in Denver. So I'm just like
Right.
except the table guys that I already they're over here. Um, and he goes, "Hey, hey, hey, are you that guy? Are you that guy on the computer that does all those cards and stuff and does that's slap?" And I go, "Yeah." I mean, I was like, "Oh, holy cow. That's crazy." I go, what's up, man?" I go, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Riley." And I go, "Hi, Riley, good to meet you." He goes, "Yeah, man, I follow you, and I watch all your stuff, and oh, yeah, it's awesome, man. Keep going." I just like, holy shizzle. Not my town, not my
Yeah.
state. Um, I go there strictly for my 2 homies, Carlos and Isaac, and they split, and I still got deals and stuff to do, and I got 2 people that come up to me saying they follow me, and they've seen me on all these 4 different formats.
Right.
Um, and so that blew me away.
Man, you're out there. Like I said, I think you're making bigger waves than you think you are. You know what I mean? I think you're doing more than you think because it's hard because you're you, right? You're not
I'm just
famous to
treading
you. You'll
water.
never be famous to you. But, other people loving your content, loving what you're doing, following you specifically because you stand out.
I appreciate it though too,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. And
really
then
do.
what you do stands out as well. That's huge. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, when you're a man and you can grow a beard like this, yeah, people gonna know who you are.
Absolutely. Hell
Grizzly
to the
Adams.
yeah.
And it's
Let's
all they know
see.
about him. They can't even remember the bear. They just know he had a big beard at this point.
We are back. All right, we are back and live on everything. We had a little glitch, and the glitch is done, and now we are rocking and rolling. You know what I mean? Let me give you a little.
Let me give you a big.
Oh, he took the silencer off. He took the silencer off, y'all. He took the silencer. Everybody's nobody's
Sand
safe.
party.
Nobody's
Sand
safe.
party.
Bringing
Got
the
the sound
sack
on.
and the. You know what I'm saying? And then
Woo! Yeah,
hell
sand
yeah.
party.
Shout out to my boy DJ Sexual Chocolate. I saw him enter the chat. Hope you're enjoying it, man.
Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying the show right now. We are doing it and doing it large. Man, I should have known taking a couple days off. Normally, this is the third show of the week I do. This is the first show of the week I do because as things fall, Sunday the holiday, Tuesday the holiday for me. My other 2 shows start Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and this is the first show of the week. So everything is a little you normally have all day Sunday and I'm dialing it in before the Sunday show. And by this show, you know what I mean? It's like boop, boop, boop.
Yo, I'm glad you didn't.
So, but
I'm
now
glad you
we are
didn't
back in
dial it.
live. So heck yeah, man.
Yes. I'm glad you
Heck yeah.
didn't dial it in there though, because that meant you spent the weekend with your family,
Oh yeah.
uh, having a good time, with
Bro,
them.
we did not for nothing, but I had a dessert. And I
Uh-oh.
wanted to tell everyone about this. Okay, so it's a caramel apple tart, right? So it's like think about what's in an apple pie, right? But then it's
Yeah.
like in a little
Fruit
like sweet
party.
bread, like almost like a muffin with like what's in the middle of an apple pie.
You're
And then
talking
they
about a
put
Twinkie.
yeah, and then they put
I'm saying
hold on. Of course, my mom is calling me. Why is my
word.
mother calling me? You know what I'm saying? Mom, I'm live on air. I'll call you
We're
back.
live. Right on.
Anyway, so I just heard her laughing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, wow. Like, I'm not saying I need all the support in the world. I don't need to be Joe Rogan or anything. But when you can't even get your own mama to pay attention, you know what I mean? What am I doing it for? What am I doing it for,
Oh,
Vern? Anyway, no.
mamas.
What was my train of thought? Damn it, I had
We were
one.
talking
Oh,
about what we did on
caramel
Easter.
apple tart, right?
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. Now, put cappuccino ice cream on top of that, right? To kind of cut the sweetness and give you that coffee dessert flavor. Then you put white and dark chocolate sprinkle, like little sprinkle shavings on top of that.
Do
So
they
you got
call
a
it the
caramel
apple
apple
diabetic?
tart. Yeah, you got a caramel apple tart with cappuccino ice cream with little, white and dark chocolate shavings over the top of it. It was amazing, dude.
Straight
So
diabetes.
yeah, man. Well, I mean, it was a dessert. You don't eat it every day. You don't eat it every day. You don't eat it after
I know,
every meal. But
I know. I woulda
if you're
ate 5 of
celebrating,
them. I'd ate 5 of them.
I yeah, one was good, but yeah, man, but it was delicious. It was man, you get full, believe it or not, man. You when you don't eat like a lot of desserts and stuff, when you do
Yeah.
eat a dessert, you're like, oh my god, like so. Anyway,
No,
I just had to shout out because that was like the best dessert I'd ever. 'Cause I'm not like an apple pie guy, I'm like,
no,
yeah,
no, I'm cherry pie.
but a caramel apple tartlet with that ice cream with because cappuccino
Mm,
ice cream is amazing. I highly recommend it to everyone. So yeah,
I like hot coffee. That's
me
it.
too.
Hot coffee.
Is that the only thing
No
you like
no
in the
iced
world,
coffee.
Bird?
No iced coffee. No blended coffee. No, oh, but I will have a white chocolate latte.
See? See? I know it. I
You
knew
It all has my name in it. I have to change
it.
Vern white chocolate. I mean, I got to. And you just had sexual chocolate in the room anyway.
DJ Sexual Chocolate in the chat.
Hey!
You know what I'm saying? Giving him all the. Let me make sure we got them all. Oh, are we not streaming now? Let's see here.
Now we're not streaming as I'm partying. Every time I party, we don't stream.
I know, right? Yeah, we are having the fun today. You know what I mean? Having the fun today. So, with the production, let's see here. Am I live? Am I going? No, that's old. Hold on. So anyway, uh, what else is going on with you? Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? What's going on
Okay.
with you?
All right. Here's something else. You saw that I was able to upgrade, right?
Right.
So I'm going to talk to you about this pew. This pew can either be yours or we can do something with it where it is the very first pew ever used on the podcast,
Yes.
and it can go to you, it can go to anybody. Whatever you
Nice.
decide, boss. Okay?
Oh, I
So,
love the sound. We have
yeah.
to make it a drop.
We'll see, and then and then this one has silencers too. So I mean, still good. So yeah. So whatever we decide to do, I think that we should do something with this pew because I don't need both these pews. The other one's heavy. I need to unload.
You need to unload one.
You got one then. And then you'll have the little baby one, I'll have the big man one.
So
Yeah.
before we get too far off the topic, I wanted to ask you about the card show.
Yeah.
Um, because you've been in the game a little while now. Are you seeing more UFC? Are you seeing more power slap? Are you seeing
Ye
more people kind of in the space you're in doing creative things with it? Or
I
how are you seeing it go?
all those questions. All
Yeah.
those questions. Okay. I actually, for the first time at a card show for me in Denver, I did see a guy that doesn't build, but he purchases card art. So he
Oh
had an
no.
entire case of, different card art, and I didn't look at it because that's when I was heading over to sell my Otani, so I wasn't bothering with his card art stuff, but there
Yeah.
was representation there, which was I was the very first one years back, and then so it's good to see that that part's grown. Um, then I tell you what, the majority though, the highest percentage of customers, Pokemon.
Hmm.
And that, that witch card game. or with wizards and witches and goblins and stuff. That's become
Dungeons and
very
Dragons?
no, no, it's something
Oh,
newer than that.
Magic.
Magic.
Magic's making a comeback, huh? In a big way.
Oh my word. Mm.
Everybody wants that magic action right now. Okay, that's
Mhm.
cool to
No,
know.
it's cool for them. If you like the
Yeah,
magic, that's cool, but me, I like the sports stuff.
yeah,
Um, but there's still plenty of sports representation there, obviously. Um, but, like, in the middle of because they had it, like, 5 sections in the middle that had big looped or rectangles circled in, spots for vendors. So, all the vendors in the middle, and then all along the outside walls, they had vendors also, and including in the entrance, they had vendors along the side, and, I tell you, it was Saturday, and I stayed as late as I could because they were
sure.
starting to put sheets over everything, and I was like, "Alright, this is my time to go," and, you know, but just the amount of people in Denver for a card show, it's the best I've seen. So, what that
Nice.
tells me about the market is the market's gonna come back slowly, right? Um, if you're selling, you're gonna have to accept less than what you think you have. Usually, even though I won on my sale somehow this weekend, just got lucky. Um, but the attendance was amazing. Uh, I rocked my deals, was able to get my chase card in the end. Uh, even though it's not here yet, it'll get here by the end of the week or so. But um, yeah, I mean, the card. It was just it was. I had so much fun, so much fun. People knowing me that I've never seen in my life. You know, that it was a cool feeling. You know, really cool feeling.
Yeah,
Um,
heck yeah.
so really that day, other than I had to leave Apollo behind because, it's I don't think it's fair to the vendors and stuff to have, your dog in there.
Right.
So I leave him at home, like, just like I do in Vegas. If I go to Vegas, I get somebody to take care of him. I leave him, but other than him not being with me on the ride there and the ride home, man, it was one of those perfect days.
Hell
So
yeah, brother. Yeah.
so gotta continue that and, start going to more card shows, and here's the thing that's interesting about that, move my silencer aside, um, the support that I was gonna get before with the people here for the slap and then the other situation, that was all building up to where they were
Right.
gonna pay
Yeah.
for my hotel, my gas, um, and then let me continue this. Well, they love the card show thing, so they're gonna now help me with the card shows. So that's
Nice.
huge.
Even
That's
better. Quite
yeah,
honestly, even better because
because
there's a
I'm
lot
making
more
bank.
card shows than slap fights, and there's a lot more people at card shows than slap fights, man.
Yeah,
If we're talking business here, let's talk
yep,
business, right?
that's
You know what
right.
I mean?
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
And I think that's where I'm gonna make my money is at card shows.
Right. Right.
You know, if something happens down the road with the card art and stuff, it's not like I'm not able to still do it.
Correct. Correct.
You know, and you were asking about like UFC and stuff. That was actually mentioned about my cards from one of the vendors I was doing a trade with that Bobby Wiz. He said, um, "Oh, you got quite a few UFC cards."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I do. I go, and most of them are pulled. I mean, I got a blue laser numbered, I think the 150 blue laser of Nate Diaz that I pulled that I sent in. It got a 10. And a lot of those lasers and stuff are impossible to
Right.
get 10s on. And also the thicker cards, impossible sometimes. So if you get one of those kinds of cards in a 10, whoo! you've hit a pretty good number, you know, depending on the player and the sport. And you just spoke about UFC. Last night, when I do that reveal thing where I just buy cards and different things and then do reveals. Just show
Right.
people what they can get out of retail, right? Just try to show them that, "Hey, don't expect too much. Expect this, that. You're probably not gonna get your money back." Well, the very last card of last night's deal, and what I do is I always take the next to the last pack and I put it on the bottom, okay? And then I start there and then I just start ripping.
Nice.
Well, the very last card last night and how I did that, my normal way, this was the very last card I pulled.
Is that Maxi?
It is.
Yeah.
That is in
Wow.
it's a teal, like diamond teal refractor on the outside.
Uh-huh.
On card, it's not a sticker. It's an on card auto.
Wow.
And that was the
Wow.
last card I had last night. It was on the very bottom. That was it. Um, so as I keep telling everybody, yeah, retail, you really can't get anything, and then I do that.
That's a signed Max Holloway card. I got
Yeah.
personal, I got love. I knew Max when he was a child.
BMF.
Literally, I
Did
knew
you
Max when he was
really?
13, 14 years old. Yeah, man. I was hanging out with him in Waianae, Hawaii when his training gym was a concrete slab, with like a roof, a
Irish.
gazebo. And
Typical.
yeah, they called him Lil Evil. Before he was blessed, he was Lil Evil, Max Lil Evil Holloway. True story. So yeah, man. um,
I
yeah, I
love
love that. So, and it's funny if I'm like, man, who'd have thought? Because he was the little guy in his crew. You know what I mean? And who'd have thought he was going to grow up to be the best, one of the best UFC
yeah,
fighters in the history of the sport? And you gotta take a little pride in that. You know what I mean? So, you
that
know what I mean?
BMF
Still get a
belt,
little
what
love.
he did, it was Gaethje, wasn't it? Or was it,
Huh? Gaethje. Yeah,
Gaethje?
Justin Gaethje. Yeah.
Yep, and that was the BMF belt fight, right?
Yeah, man. That's gonna go. He's
That's
had a couple of legendary, but that one
that
absolutely will go down in history,
oh,
man. Agreed.
yeah, that'll be top 5 in history forever. I
Absolutely.
mean, literally
Was a
1.5 and that boom,
Boo.
and just fold it up like a folding chair. Gunk. One
Yeah, man.
beautiful.
And you're getting older when you don't know the fighters, but you're a huge fan of the sport, right? That's
Yeah, it's hard to
like,
keep up now, though.
yeah, I'm like, well, and the thing is, people have their runs, and I mean, I remember
Oh,
being a huge Kamaru Usman fan and watching him
yeah.
go to the championship run. And same thing with Funk Master, and these guys have had their run. Izzy's done, it looks like. I don't know if Israel Adesanya is
He
ever going to come back and be what he was. By
no,
far, when I was Sean Strickland, same thing. Both two of my favorite fighters, and both
didn't
of
they
them
call
just,
isn't that is that don't they wanna fight each other now? Isn't that the deal?
I don't know about
I
those two
think I
because I
saw
know
a
they're
thing where
good
I think those
friends.
2 wanna fight each other now. I
Maybe
think
for
Izzy
money.
wants to fight Strickland.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like at this point, they're prize
Yeah,
fighters, and I get it. It's like, okay, we're maybe not the champ contenders, but we
we'll bring in the
also,
bank.
yes, we sell the most tickets. And a lot of times it doesn't matter whether you're holding the belt if you're selling the most tickets. We know this. We know
Yeah,
this all too well. So
but
they
we
know.
also have hold on, we also have coming up this weekend. Don't
Boo.
we have
Oh
that fight
yeah.
coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I believe that's this week. No, that's not. That can't be this weekend.
They just had a
Is it?
face-off?
Hold on. Maybe they just did.
Find out for me. I always speak wrong on the dates, but they did have, like, this stage face-off, maybe it was just,
Yeah, no, they're
promo.
fighting.
They are
Let's
fighting this
see
weekend?
here. No. They are fighting, but I don't think this weekend. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's just Ian
The
Machado
promo,
Gary versus Prates in Kansas City. And then I
that's the
think
big
what you're
one.
talking about is, let's see here.
It's gotta be in, like, the 4th of July weekend around there, something big.
Yeah. Let's see here because I have till September 13th out. And yeah,
Woo!
I've got Sandhagen versus Figueiredo on May 3rd. And
Yes.
then Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena on May 10th, and that's a pay-per-view. And that's in Montreal, Canada. And then you have May 17th is Burns versus Morales at the Apex. Blanchfield versus
Oh,
Barbara Aaron Blanchfield chick fight, Apex. Marab Davashvili versus Sugar Shane O'Malley, June
June.
7th
Hot.
in Newark, New Jersey. I'm sorry.
Ooh,
Sorry about that, fighters.
stinky New Jersey, but that's alright,
Yeah.
it can be stinky. Hey, we
And
got
then
stinky Nebraska.
yeah, that's the longest one out. So that'll be that.
Ooh,
And I hope O'Malley gets smashed. I can't stand O'Malley. Not my favorite,
no,
you
no,
know.
no, no. And actually, though, I saw what was coming 2 years ago. So, I mean, I do have an autographed glove, not UFC, but one of the blue and white ones that they used. And I
Right.
believe it was, between the TV show, him actually getting on, he had to do a few other MMA fights, but I got that auto, and then I have a couple of these, but these RPAs that I have of his,
Hmm.
they're gonna be, up for sale. I'm not and I'm probably the week of the fight,
Right.
is
Right.
when I'll put them up on an auction. So,
Very cool. Heck yeah, man. Heck
yeah.
yeah. No, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about, personally, I'm excited about any power slap news. You know what I mean? So, Amber Lanier Von Wilder in the building. What up, Amber?
Woo!
Also, we got to give a shout out to Superfan.
Oh, super fans gotta see it. We got the
He's
big
listening
dog.
in.
Oh, brother.
He says he's just working and listening. And Amber says, hey, hey, hey. You know what I mean? Shout out to all our listeners. Shout out to Amy. Shout out to the people complaining on the other chat because we were having issues. What are you gonna do, right? So we're back now. Hey, sorry guys, sometimes it takes a second. You know what I mean? Shout out to Nate Eller. He's like, would love to listen, but I can't hear it. Let's see here. What are you gonna do?
Well,
What we
just
got
look
to
at our
fix now?
pretty faces.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Janet. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We love you.
Let's
Thank you.
go.
Shout out to everybody over on Twitter. Can't see your chats because Twitter needs to fix their stuff, but we're doing good here on that, man. So,
Muchas gracias, homies.
man, I did something that you do regularly, and it was so mentally healthy. Like I'm a happier, calmer person today, Vern. And I am because like I took some time off social media. You know what I mean? Like I just and mainly politics. I might have said what's up to somebody here or there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
somebody reached out because you show love, especially on the holidays. You don't just ignore people, or I try not to. But um you know what I hate the most, by the way, is Instagram. Like I will not realize I have an Instagram message for 3 days. I'm like, holy crap! Like text messaging, Facebook DMs, Twitter DMs, all really good. Something about those Instagram DMs, they don't alert right
Yeah,
or something. And I turn around, I'm like, somebody messaged me 4 days ago. I have like good friends that I'm supposed to be doing stuff with, right?
yeah.
And
You miss out.
it was, it's like, hey man, and then 3 days later, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't see this message. So
See,
anyway, what are you
but
gonna do?
but during that break, you never had those moments.
Right,
Because
correct.
those moments are full stress, full anxiety. "Oh, man, I wonder if they're upset with me. I didn't mean to do this on purpose. Do they think I did this on purpose? Oh, I didn't mean to, blah, 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 blah," right?
Right.
And you break away from that, and that you don't have any of that outside sort of influence that's negative. It's
Well,
and
and it's
not really
important.
negative, but you can take it that way. Your body can
Yeah.
take it that way because you worry, you're concerned.
Well, it's important because I'm on the other end too a lot of the time.
Yeah,
And you're like, man, this
great.
person isn't getting back to me. Are they like F you? Are they going through the, like, did they
Usually,
hear some
that's
drug?
what I'm doing.
Because, well, it's a almost a PTSD, a trauma response, right? Because you live in the social media world where you're fine with somebody today, then something comes out or somebody trashes you on a podcast or on Twitter. You have no idea. You have no idea what's going on. And then somebody like, work with
They
is
tell
like,
you.
man, I heard you said this. I'm like, what? No, I didn't say anything to the I didn't even think that. Like, I
No.
literally, that makes no sense that you would put that on me because I wouldn't even think like that. And
Yep.
it's, of course, in this world, never, you know what I mean? Never, if it's one of your people, you're going to know most of the time. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's frustrating, man. And so when you don't hear from somebody a lot of the time, you're like, oh, great. What's going on? You know
What
what
I
I
do
mean? What drama, beef, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram am I about to get off into? What friend am I about to lose over some stupid shit? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, man, it's a trauma response when you don't hear from somebody, but then you take your time off to get a little healthier mentally.
now.
And you're like, man, I meant no evil towards anyone. Like, man, and that's the thing, as you know, when you're busy on social media, I mean, I always wake up to at least, 10, 12 messages over 4 different, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
platforms. I miss the days where it was like the phone. If it wasn't in the mail or they weren't calling you or
You mean
texting you,
rotaries.
you didn't have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Bring
And
back
now it's
the
like you
rotary.
got, yeah, think about it. It's like, okay, so it's email, 3 different main DMs, 2 business DMs, text message, phone. It's like there are 8 different ways. And so if any one of 10 people contact me in any one of those 8 ways and I'm not on that way, I'm missing them and dealing with that. It's, you know what I mean? It can be crazy, is all I'm saying. So,
Well,
yeah.
here you go. My dad never owned a cell phone.
I know, right?
Never. He died in 2020. 2020.
Nice.
I had a cell phone when I was working for the railroad in 2001,
Very
2002. My dad was still alive in all those times. He refused it. He refused the technology. He knew what the technology was, and he was like, "I ain't having that around me." My dad had a landline
yeah.
that ran in a long cord that ran everywhere. And whenever that phone would ring, back when I was a kid growing up, everything, anytime he was at home and he was in the middle of his crossword sitting in his chair with our TV on a cart that we rolled from room to room, that phone would ring and he would just say, "That blasted thing." I mean, anybody intruded on his world during his private time, and he was just like, "Oh, how dare you?
How
This is
dare you?
my time. Don't bother me on my time. And I have work time, and I have my family time, and don't bother me on my family time." And he was actually really, like, aggressive about about that, that stance. But yeah, phones, 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 phones.
Well, man, something we talked about a little bit last week that just stayed in my mind, and that is no one has any internal dialogue anymore. And if you do have internal dialogue, it's kind of dictated and controlled by social media. You're thinking about what you just saw, who just talked smack to you, who you're about to talk smack back to, why they're evil, why you're good, why you can be, how you can be more evil, blah, blah, blah. It's dirty and it's gross, but what it also does is it takes that internal dialogue away. I think that's why creativity is so lacking. That's why the best and biggest strides we make in creativity today are in fact digital. You know what I mean? From music, AI, everything going digital, art going digital, everything going digital because that's what's occupying the artist's mind.
But it's
Because the
still
artist isn't out touching grass. The
in him.
artist isn't out, you know what I mean, experiencing life on living in a crappy hostel. You know what I mean?
Well,
Shared
that's my
room.
goal, but
Say what, brother?
that's my goal, I wanna live in them
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hostels with all them guys too, but, you know
No,
what?
no, I'm just saying,
I
think about all the art. All the art is going digital.
mm-mm,
Everything
ain't art.
digital. That's what we are
That's what they
almost
call
for
it,
lack, yeah, that's what we're being assimilated into.
not
You know what I
really.
mean? So that's the attempt, at least I think.
Yeah,
So
I think it will happen, yeah, for sure, it's gonna happen.
right.
Uh, it already has. Um, I mean, I'm looking at other card artists now, and they don't do nothing except 5 minutes on a computer and then they have the overlay that they can print right onto out of the copier here, because I've done that myself. I've never done a card like that, but I knew they were doing it, so I wanted to try it and see what it looked like just on the overlay. But they're doing things on the computer, printing that off, and then putting it on a heavy stock, and then making it back, same way on the computer, printing it off, and then they're gluing those 2 sides together, and they're calling it card art.
Hmm.
That's not card art. What have
Not at
you
all.
done?
Man,
It's
people
a
are
thought, it's an idea, but you shortcutted to get to the finish line. You cut across the field in a 1600 to win. You know what I'm saying? It's not taking your hands and physically doing something like with the clay potteries
right.
mixes. Everything about art, everything is about your brain and these 2 things right here. That's where art comes from, not a computer. Those are just
Agreed.
images. Images.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, and it's people are making art, making AI art where they put command prompts in, AI pops something out and they go, look at this art I did. And I'm like, no.
ChatGPT. ChatGPT.
It's like we'll take music, for instance. You don't understand how a G and an A chord hit together and how you can make them hit together and whether you're playing them on an up note or, a half measure.
Hopefully you're
You don't
sliding
understand.
into it.
I can type all that in and hear it, right,
Yeah.
into an AI program, but I don't understand creating that in the same way that I don't understand how red and yellow feel, you know what I mean, when
Yeah.
AI does it versus when I'm looking at it, or why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. What's the point of it? Is there a design in mind? Is there a theory and a thought process larger, bigger than the sum of its parts, right? So, is there a whole thing designed behind this that you may not realize when you get the information? And I'm saying yes, always. And I'm saying AI keeps you thinking in the immediate, just like social media keeps you thinking in the immediate. I was thinking of the first sentence of the Art of War. Know thy enemy, know thyself, and in 100 battles you will never lose. And I thought to myself, well, that knowing thy enemy is one thing, but if you don't know yourself, you don't know who your enemy is because you don't know who you are. So you can't name your enemy, and that's what they keep us doing, is not knowing ourselves. You don't know yourself because you're a ball of reaction, right? It's something interesting.
You're
Jordan
right.
Peterson is a
Right.
psychologist. Not everybody loves him, but I think he's very brilliant. I love reading his work. I love listening to him. He was on Rogan the other night, and he was talking about how the internet does this. It basically was talking about what we were talking about the lack of accountability. But he was also talking about how the internet encouraged people to be ghoulish. It becomes this race to the bottom in a way, right? Because you can say something, then I can say something, then you can say something worse. Than how awful can I get it to be? Right? How awful can I be to win? I mean, I get threatened all the
It
time and all of that.
encourages trolling.
Yeah. Well, and even past trolling, I mean, it encourages evil, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, from what we're seeing now on all
Yeah,
these social media platforms, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's all you're seeing is the talk between, um, a fallen angel, a UFO, Katy Perry being I mean, just being overwhelmed, and this is right after the LA fires where they're talking all this stuff with the tunnels and then the kids, and, none of this has anything to do with anything but evil,
correct.
and that is just the frequency and vibration that is encompassing the globe.
Well, and and man, it is divided in every possible way, right? So, for instance, I grew up as not a Catholic, not hating Catholic people,
No.
right? Just because We worshiped the same God and we believed in the same Jesus. We just did a little different. And that's cool. And now you go on Twitter and you think it was the 1800s and they were fighting again in old Ireland, Catholics
Yeah.
against Protestants, and it's crazy. And I'm like, okay, so we can't have Easter anymore, can't have Christmas, you know what I mean? Can't
Oh,
have people going to school together, can't have dinner, can't have, anything anymore. You know what I mean? And it's like that's the point, is to take over your brain, is to make you feel bad or to make you feel owed or to make you feel something. And when you pull out of it and you get to feel like who you are, you know what I mean? Like the one thing I noticed, man, when I pulled out and kind of took a little bit of a social media break and the streaming break, the one the one main thing I noticed is that, and this is gonna sound stupid, but man, most and probably all, but my unhappiness is because of me. You know what I mean? The way for me to be
shoot.
immediately more happy in my life and more functional and accomplish more, get closer to my goals, is for me to change me immediately. Not winning on a phone war,
Mm.
not
Not with words.
posting some own post about how smart I am, how dumb you are, whatever. Not, you know what I'm saying? Not getting 100 more followers, which shout out, man, we got a great YouTube thing coming in. Looks like
Awesome.
we're gonna get a significant YouTube boost here in the next week or so. So I'm very happy about that.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be big. But that's a
Woo.
whole nother, that's a blessing. That's a
Yeah.
blessing, but that's not the thing. Because I can promise you there are people with 1 million followers who are miserable, who don't want to live, who don't want to
I
wake
can
up
guarantee
tomorrow.
you there are people with $40 million that are miserable.
Yeah. No. And I'd take 4 million.
Happily, I can tell you that.
I'd
So,
take
I
four
mean,
million and be miserable if you want to just give some money away for somebody to
yeah.
be. I
You
would
know
tell
what
you I
though?
was miserable.
No, bro, I
Yeah.
think you're doing everything great. I mean, you're hustling hard,
Well, I just wanted to say,
you're
man,
working
I
hard.
wanted to thank you because I think a lot of it was you, right? And you just operate on a different level, man. You be the first to say you're a different cat. And I think we'd
Oh,
all agree
yeah.
you're kind of a different cat. You have different stripes. You're a cat of different stripes, and we love it. You know what I'm saying? We love it. But the one thing I noticed is that you kind of you so one thing that makes you weak, and one thing that can put you in a situation where you are dealing with repercussions and paying for damages far into the future you never intended to, is by acting rash, by acting on your emotion, by
Oh,
jumping. Now, sometimes you have to.
yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to jump. But the way you are able to jump confidently and not get stuck in a situation like that is by practicing mindfulness,
Yep.
is by stepping
Stepping
away from it.
outside your own
Yes.
shoes and looking at
Yes.
the world from other people's perspectives because you know what? That universe, that world, it revolves around every single one of us on this rock, not just
Right.
one individual. So,
Right.
yeah, step out of your shoes sometimes and look at the other perspective and then take an understanding of that perspective. And then, even though you still stand on your foundation, you can say, hey, I see where you're coming from, because on your side, you see this, this, and this. And hey, I respect that, but this is how I view it, and this is how I'm going to be, and I'm always going to be that,
Yeah.
you know, and unapologetically. I'm an unapologetically weird, eccentric, um, old fool.
But it's beautiful, and who doesn't want to be unapologetically themselves? You know what I mean? Yeah, because here are the options, right? You can be who you are unapologetically, other than I'm not perfect and I apologize for that. Other than that, I'm doing my best and I'm not going to apologize for who I am. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I'm not going to apologize for the music I like or the art I create, that kind of thing. I love that. And then you think, what are the options? And what is the hell everybody else is living in? Right?
Yeah.
So the option is being apologetically yourself, which is kind of what I think the plan is mentally. And there's a brain bug where you feel inherently evil or broken or wrong or messed up a lot of times because of things you had no control over. But
Mhm.
but you feel that way, so you are apologetically you. You move in this world and you go out and you pursue things and deal with things as someone who doesn't deserve or without the confidence of or carrying around a guilt or a shame that you shouldn't and don't have to.
No.
And so you're living apologetically you, trying to figure out the right way to be the person that is accepted by the people you're seeking acceptance from, right?
Yep.
Or you live unapologetically a fraudster life, which is seems to be what the success like so you have the apologetic people and that's people you know and love, but you they've been beat down. And then you have the fraudsters that are unapologetically someone else. It's
Mhm.
they're
They're
not real. They're
they're
grifters.
phony.
They're hustlers. Yeah, they'll do what they have to do to get by, and that's where that psychopathy comes in, of almost that the idea of if I hustle you and
It
if I tell you to give me money for something and you get nothing out of it, and I lie to you and you give me the money, well, what you should have learned, you should have been smarter. You know what I mean? I'm really intelligent, so it's okay that I dupe the dumb people and the rubes. You're a rube, so you deserve to be duped. You deserve to be stolen from. You deserve to be abused. And that's that psychopathy mind, and that's that unapologetically living a fraudster life. So your options are apologetically being you, unapologetically being someone else, or unapologetically being you. I'll take the third option,
Yeah, I'm
please.
number 3. Hit it, hit that, hit that.
I didn't mean to turn it into a joke. I mean it, but I just mean it's something that you inspired me to pull back and look at my life. And the beautiful part, man, is when you realize that you are uh the cause of and the solution to the bulk of all of your problems. That's a beautiful realization, man.
Yeah, you
So
can if I mean, but first, before you can do that, like you said, before you can notice any of your anybody else's flaws and be on point or anybody else's anything, you have to be on point with yourself about your own flaws. Everybody has them. Accept them. Don't try to hide them.
yes.
Because then you hide them, you bury them, and then you're carrying that, and then somebody else sees you doing that fool stuff that you say you don't do, or you're who you aren't. See you being who you aren't. Nobody's gonna see me being who I aren't.
Exactly. But you're gonna feel it though. You're gonna feel it. You're just gonna know. And man, that is one thing in my life at this age that I regret the most of anything, and that is not listening to my own intuition. That is going, well, I know this may not be right for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway because opportunity,
Yeah,
good paying job, good shows, good this, good that. And this does not resonate with me. This is not who I am in my soul, or this is not what I want to be doing. But the benefits far outweigh the me being a little unhappy in my spirit. So I'm going to do it. And I wish, man, I wish I would have gone back and done that differently,
yeah,
because that is
compromise
those are
your
the things
spirit.
you don't get back. The things you trade for whatever that you don't want to trade for whatever, you don't get those things back. So, yeah, man.
No,
Don't do it. Not worth it.
no.
So,
I mean, I always when I taught piano lessons, when I, working with kids, uh, I one of my biggest things, I had some really talented musicians come through, and I would always tell them, "Never let anybody talk you out of your dream. Whether it's working for you, whether it's not working for you. Yeah, if you have money, if you don't have money, if you got food, if you don't got food, if you got a dream, you still got something. When you feel like you got nothing, if you still have a dream, you still got something, fool."
yes. Of value. That's the thing.
Yeah,
And like, if you notice, we talk about being unapologetically yourself, right?
yep,
And then we break down to what is it? Unapologetic why? Because of flaws, right? And we
mhm,
always default to the negative. And I was thinking as we were talking, I'm unapologetically valuable. Not me, all of us,
value.
right? You are.
Know
It's
your
not about
value.
your flaws, man. S- Fuck your flaws. How about that? Yeah, I said it. Guess what? You're not perfect. You know
Nobody
what
is.
I mean? Are you a decent person? Do you try hard not to hurt other people? Do you find
Mm,
a spiritual connection in being the most moral and highest quality human you can be? Do you believe in at least good karma and putting more positive out, giving more than you take? You
Oh
know what
my
I mean? Do you
word.
understand that the worst thing you can do is hurt people weaker than you? And do you try to protect weaker people on whatever level you can, whether it's using your voice, making phone calls, using fists, whatever it is? Do you do your best to try to help people? I have an extra sandwich, and instead of throwing it away, I know somebody might be hungry. I'm gonna give them that extra sandwich. You know what I
I
mean?
can tell you
It's
this, like at the, when I go to an event, I'm and then they'll probably be watching me now if I ever make it to another one since I'm saying all this, but, you know, a lot of those fighters, they're hungry, bro. Literally.
oh,
They're
you mean like
starving. They have no
like
money. They got nothing to buy. They've hustled their way in to be able to get a ticket up in the bleachers. You don't get special treatment if you're in a bleacher seat.
no.
You just have to show, and I always make sure I'm in the second row. Um, just been my style, what I've done since the second trip. After seeing it the first time at PS6, but I mean, I've had them come up to me, some guys, and be like, "Hey, can you grab me a cheeseburger?" 'Cause, he does a full layout there, for the certain ticket buyers that have certain lanyards, and there's pizza, there's cheeseburgers, free drinks, desserts, I mean, just everything, and so I take trips, and any fighter that's hungry gets food.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's a trip, man. I mean, I feel like if you're signed to the organization, you should at least be able to get into the reception area, but,
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot of hungry people out there,
true that.
in all walks of life, and I don't have anything paper that's gonna help anybody, but if something I already have or something I can do to help somebody if they need it, I will. Now, now, if I've already turned the cheek to a person and I see him with a flat tire needing help, hands in the air, I ain't stopping. I'm learning my lesson. So people don't do, they don't learn their lessons. And they keep going back and back and back, trying to repeat the same thing, which is ignorance, I believe, or crazy. I think crazy, that's the definition of like crazy when you keep repeating yourself, right?
Doing
And
the
they keep
same thing
going
over and over again.
over
Yeah,
and
yeah.
over. They keep going back. Everybody does because they don't learn their lesson.
Refusing to grow,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have to hold on to the same old friends, the same old life, the same old everything. They cannot let go. They cannot learn that that is not working for them. That's not their life. Move on.
Yeah, man, there is a select few and a very short list of people. If I saw them stranded on the side of the road, I wouldn't help them. But there is a list. There is a list.
My
You know what
list
I
is
mean?
longer.
So, yeah, I have a very small list of people.
Yeah, you're good.
But
You're
also, everybody on that list, I can literally tell you why. There's a
yeah.
solid why.
Oh,
You know
oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? So, and it's not
And
that I didn't
nothing
forgive them
petty.
for what they did in the past. I just don't, as you say,
No,
the bubble of positivity.
and they're
I
not gonna
don't.
bring
They
that
will
into
pop
you.
that, and I don't want that popped. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna pop that bubble, even if it is a tire alongside the road. You know what they're gonna do? Is you're helping them and you're on your knees changing the tire because they don't know how. They're gonna be talking smack to you about everything they talked smack to you before, only
That's true.
nicely.
That's true.
So zoom on by. Bubble, bubble, you
Well,
know?
and that's the thing, man. It's I don't know, one of my favorite sayings. It's a little cheesy, but I like the saying "Find your tribe." You know what I mean? You're
Dude,
not
that's not
always,
cheesy. That's
you
my
know,
goal.
right, right. Well, and but you're doing it, and that's what I was gonna say is I think what I'm loving seeing with you right now is that you are finding your fan base and you are finding the people that appreciate and respect what you do. And it's been a journey.
The
It's
whole
been a road for you. It's been a challenge
thing, the
because
Pony
there's a lot of
Express,
people.
bro.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hard riding, hard riding.
All the way. But I love that, and what's beautiful about that is, man, people that tune into you not because they're fans of something else that you're a part of, but people that are a fan of what you do specifically, they're there for life, man. They're not going away. Those people support you and love you for you and enjoy what you do, and that can't be replaced. There can never be another you. And then specifically you, but for everyone, but for you specifically, and that's beautiful, man. That's the
But
beautiful part about it, in my opinion.
but, you know, me being me, I don't know any of that stuff.
Right.
I don't know I have a fan base. I don't know anybody likes me. Um, I just mind my business and stay at home and do what I do, and just do what I do. I don't go out looking for anybody that is following or isn't following. Um, because you know what? Here's the thing about that. People that scroll through and look at friends, and they do it and do it and do it and do it and do it until they find one that had deleted them. So then they can be mad about that. Why did you ever even start that scroll? Why did you ever you wanted to fight somebody, so you started that scroll till you find somebody that dumped you off your friends list and you start a fight with them, right?
Well, and
So
the
so
algorithm is like that too, though. The algorithm does that stuff on purpose too. It really, really does. I
see,
realize
and I
that.
don't understand them algorithms. I wish they had feet and hands and a face
Let
because
me
I
give
I
you an
I don't
example. Let
understand.
me let me give you a great example of an algorithm, right? So you have a few thousand followers, friends, whatever you want to call it, right? And you can have family members, right? So say Facebook and you have maybe family like your mother and your cousin that you see on a regular basis, and Facebook knows they have this, they know that your phone is in proximity to the other person, and they also know that on Facebook they're listed as your family member, right? And all of this stuff.
Mhm.
But you never see any of their posts. When you log in and scroll your Facebook, you don't see them ever, even when they posted a picture of you going, "We love you." But a guy who posted something 2 days ago in direct opposition to what you posted, you believe, right?
Yeah,
Or a guy saying something extremely inflammatory that you've taken that bait and replied maybe one too many times, or maybe even never, but they're hoping you will. You'll see a post that is 4 days old that has 0 likes and 0 responses from a guy you didn't even remember was on your friends list that you haven't interacted with in years. And he's got a 4-day, and the very first thing you see is that post because it is designed to enrage you, to get you to feed and start fighting or comment on it, which then generates more energy for their machine,
that's why
right?
you need an internal dialogue, so you can handle
Exactly.
all that stuff
Yes.
internally in your head, deal with it, figure it out, get through it, and
Yes.
move on. Internal
Internal
dialogue does that.
internal dialogue goes, "Why am I seeing this? Wait a minute. This is a 4-day-old post from someone I never interact with in real life or on Facebook that uh, has had no interaction, yet it is literally the first thing I see when I log in. Why? Right? What are they trying to do? Am I being manipulated here? Is this an attempt to manipulate me to get emotional and frustrated or angry and stay on this app for hours when I normally would scroll by and be about my business? But now they've got me and I'm creating energy for, their AI and creating information and creating value for Meta, the parent company here. Is that it?
Which is
And
in trouble
internal
right now.
dialogue allows you that. No internal dialogue and being a slave to that system. You pop up and then you start the fight with the dude because you're like, this is a low value account to me. If I lose him, I don't care about this guy. So I can fight with him on Facebook, right? Because I don't interact with him much.
But I tell you, I usually fight with the people I like. Be
Yeah, well,
honest.
screw you, Vern. I'm kidding. I'm
No, no,
kidding.
not you. I mean, you're my homie, bud. I mean,
No, no, I'm joking. I'm
you've done a lot for me, Mike,
no, no,
in
no.
all
We
this.
we're doing a thing together. It's all
Yeah, we're
good.
doing
But
it together. We are, but bro, you do the nasty. You know, you do the dirty work. You get you know, some of us just get a shower, get to put on our glasses and hat, hang out, and get to have a good chat with a buddy. You know, but the buddy's the one that's doing all the work behind the scenes. It's really the tough stuff. You know, so
hey
yeah,
man, one day we'll have a producer. So one day
we're
we'll
doing
just
it
be able to
together,
yell at a
but
producer.
I mean, you need your props, brother. So
Thank you, man.
I figured out directions on the camera.
Man, I will say that's another thing is gratitude, bro. When you pull back out of the misery of the cesspool of social media and you can pull around and look at your life, like there's a lot of gratitude you miss. Man, there is a lot of real life people that really love me for no good reason other than
Yeah,
somebody's looking out for me on another plane. You know, other than God loves me. So he's provided humans in love form, you know what I mean, to provide that to me because I haven't earned it. I don't deserve it. But these are good folks, man, and that means so much more than all the Facebook likes in the world, in
yeah,
my opinion, is to
yeah.
have
Oh,
real people, you know.
I don't do the things I do on social media, and this is probably going to affect the algorithm. But I don't do what I do for likes, for hearts, for angry faces, for comments. I'm doing what I'm doing to document my journey.
For sure.
Whether anybody likes it or not. That's why on sometimes you'll see me I figured something out this last week and I sang a song.
Yeah, no, you did patience. Of course, you
Yeah.
know I love that.
Yeah,
So
and I haven't sang in 2 years.
oh
It's been 2
really?
years since I've done anything musical.
Man, I
Anything.
was jealous of your I was like, okay, man, why you gotta flex on me? That's
No,
not
I
fair.
I was just actually
We
just,
don't all get to have that vocal. All right, we get it. You
no,
win.
and I haven't give me 2 months, and that vocal will be on point. You know, it struggled that night. You know, it was late and I was having fun, but it's cool. It was a cool thing to figure out for me is I can't play as well as I used to, like we've talked about with the neurological stuff. But this was a way that night that I could find my frequency. I could connect with music. And I mean, I probably did 5 or 6 songs before I decided to do that one and do a little bit of it on
Well, and
mute.
if people that's a very vocally hard song to do. That's not an easy one. Like, honestly, you wanna get your vocals warm and kinda get a pass, for me, it would be Lovely Day,
Yeah.
right? Because it's such a kind of a one chord songish
Yep.
thing, and it's brilliant in what it is, don't get me wrong, but the thing there is that you can adjust the tune just a little, you can ad you know what I mean? You can adjust the chord, just or the tuning on it and hit it. Find your
Wait
vocal
till
with it and hit it, you know,
wait
whereas
till I
Patient
record Seeger's Turn the Page.
yeah, on the
That
road
was
again,
Yep,
there I
that was
go.
one of my big ones. That one, Willie Nelson and, 7 Spanish Angels, that's another one that was really big, when I do it, Copperhead Road, um, then the Jerry Lee songs, those are all the ones that I would do, you know, there's a certain niche,
See, I can see
for my
Copperhead Road. Yeah, 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 with your vocal tone, yeah.
yeah,
Patience, I was surprised because once again, that's a very it's such
you
an
gotta go
emotive
falsetto,
vocal, you know what I mean?
you gotta go
Sing
falsetto a lot,
yeah.
you know, and then you just have to
Yeah.
follow that falsetto with the tones, and remember what Axl did. That's what you gotta do. You just gotta remember what Axl did when he was on the stage and made it to the show. But yeah, you know, but
Well, very
that's
few songs turn on a vocal, right? Day Now. Every day now. Da, 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 da. It literally it turns on that vocal. Most songs don't turn on a vocal, right? So
no,
that
you're
was awesome.
leading your tones into what Slash is gonna be starting to play.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's, like, complete breaks in there where the vocals are the start off to the different chord changes.
Which is
That
why I love GNR in a way because Slash was so good at I would say that Jimmy Page thing of making the guitar a another singer. You know what I mean?
oh,
Or you can't imagine that band without that specific guitar sound.
no,
So
you can't say that band without Slash. You can't say that
correct.
band and then not mention Slash. You know, and
Correct.
it's always like Axel, but Axel kinda was poopy head, you know, and and then you had Slash that was just this amazing musician. Kinda
I
like
love
Wes Borland, with Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
Like,
Wes is a little pretentious, but
he's
yeah,
a
you know.
weirdo, he's out there, that's why I dig him. I could
I
probably
like
have
him. Okay, so you want to know? Okay, so little musician things. You want to know? This is a fun story. So Wes had this video about like his favorite guitars and what he played and his Franking guitars he'd made over the years. I'm in. Great video. Let's go. And one of his guitars that he absolutely loved, that he was like, I don't play much anymore, but I actually played it on tour and I played it a lot in the studio. It was a Fender Squire,
what
right? And then he had put Alan Incos or Diodario's in it. Anyway, the point is, it was one he had put cleaner, brighter pickups in this old Fender Squire. But here was my issue. None of that. All that's fine. I love all that. He he had steamed Squire off of it and then put the Fender logo, got the Fender logo sticker,
can't
and
do
put it
that,
on the headstock because
can't do
he's
that.
what a bitch move. You know what I'm
That
saying?
is, that
Really, like
is. Go
steamed
buy
the
the real
Squire
thing,
off.
you got the money.
I'm like, really, dog? You're one of the most famous musicians in the world, and you're a brand whore. Really, you're a brand whore. You know, if
Oh,
fans would buy you a new guitar, you found a guitar you like. The whole point of it was that it was a Squire. What makes it cool to me is it wasn't. Yeah, I spent $5 grand on the best shit money could buy, and it sounds
yeah,
good. What makes it great
yeah.
to me is you got a guitar that I could buy off Facebook Marketplace for $120. The same guitar and you
Yep,
basically made it work and sold millions of records playing a guitar like that. That gives people hope. Not yeah, and I steamed the Squire logo off and
yeah,
replaced it with the Fender logo.
yep. I
So you
didn't know
couldn't
that.
tell it wasn't a Fender Strat. So I was like, and here's the thing, I love all his music. And you hate that when you find one little stupid thing out, you're just like, I know I'm petty, but come on, man.
I'll
You know what I'm
fire him.
saying?
I'll fire him. Fire him. He's out of my band.
I just feel bad for his guitar tech. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, you
he had to do. His tech is the guy that had to do that. He didn't
oh,
do
they do
shit.
everything, and plus they know all the songs, and they know all the riffs of the guitar player that they are handling everything.
They have
They're
to. Yeah.
actually outstanding musicians themselves.
There's a whole
Everybody on that bus,
yeah,
other than
there's a whole YouTube video of Slash's tech. He has like a 20-minute video and he shows the songs and he has the pedal. So the only pedal Slash is responsible for on stage is wah. And he has 3 wah pedals set up on different parts of the stage. So wherever he's jamming, he can just step up and wah it out. But from clean to fuzz to all of that, and he uses crazy little. Slash uses like 4 things period. He uses like a fuzz, a super distortion, a compression, and wah. Like that's it. And um
West.
the tech hits it. So you know what I mean? So my solos come in, wow, wow, cold November rain. My tech better hit that shit on time. I'm like, what a stressful job. Like easy and cool until it's not, right? And then
You got
it's like,
that's you gotta be I mean, that's why there's so much cocaine used in the industry, because they gotta stay focused. Gotta
right.
stay laser I mean, really, they gotta stay laser focused on that. So, "Okay, now we're on. Okay, we got 3, 2, 1, hit it. Boom. Yeah. Right on, bro.
Go
Yeah,
Slash, go. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man. I mean,
Fair.
that's the business. That's just the business. Um, but yeah, those guitar players, there's something else. I mean, Slash was just Slash. Top hat,
Yeah.
ugly, ugly dude, big nose ring, that big fro hair that just went straight, beautiful metal hair. He
And
got
that's
West.
he auditioned fun little trivia fact.
Okay.
He auditioned for Metallica and Guns N' Roses at the same time. And Metallica took what's his name over him? Lead guitarist for Metallica. What's his
Yeah,
name? I
I
want to
know.
say Dave. Dave.
I wanna here's the thing, I wanna say Dave Navarro, but it's not Dave
No.
Navarro. But yeah,
I'm
I think you're
surprised
right.
you don't know. It's Dave Mustaine, Kurt Hammett. Oh, Kurt Hammett.
Yep, there
Sorry.
you go,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you go. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
No, that's the lead singer guy. Dave is from another band. Anyway, long story short, the guitarist for Metallica got hired. It was between him and Slash, and Guns N' Roses wanted Slash, and he had auditioned for both bands. And could you imagine if Slash had gone into Metallica and what they would sound like today? And then
Oh,
I don't think there would be a Guns N' Roses. Like, I think there would still
oh,
be a
no.
Metallica. I think they would sound crazy different though, but I do not think there would be a Guns N' Roses without Slash. So
No, they would've been Blink 182.
all the small things.
Oh my. What a great but yet horrible era of music.
You good and hey man, I love new
You know?
metal. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah. I mean,
My
I
boy,
love
okay. I I have a homeboy in Florida that does every New Year's Eve night, he does New Metal New Year, where he goes on a live stream for like 5 hours. And if you donate $5 with your request of new metal songs, he plays them and he plays you into the new year. So, like, if you're having a New Year party, he's there to like, it's almost like a DJ and he's playing,
and you just tip 'em, you gotta tip 'em though to get your song.
yeah, and I'm talking like, yeah, like POD and like the low levels, like the O Town Street Kids had a song at like all
Oh,
these like
no doubt.
new metal B-lister new metalers that the record companies ran out to sign that you maybe heard one of their songs, maybe you didn't. Lip Biscuit's tour supporting guys, they all sound Limp Biscuit-ish, if you will, Red
Yeah.
Hot Chili Pepper-ish,
Why am I not on that tour?
I know. Well, there
Why am I
so
not the security double?
And so here's the thing. That's my idea. That's my dream. It's actually a dream of mine. Shout out Mersh. Is to do a new metal New Year festival one New Year. Because a lot of these bands are still around. Papa Roach, think about it. You'll
Yeah,
get them
Papa
cheap.
Roach.
You'll get them for like $500 and a two-piece per band member. You know what I'm saying?
2 years I used to book the entertainment out here for summer festivals and for the center that, is owned. Um, I mean, we tried to get the biggest name I tried to get, Willie Nelson.
Yeah, that's a pretty big name, brother.
It was hard, and we didn't get him. It just came down to he wanted to spend time with his family, and not on a bus traveling across the country on a holiday weekend, to play a
Sure.
concert, you
Yeah,
know?
and he will not fly. He just stays on that
No.
bus from what I hear. So
Well, you can't smoke on a plane,
That's that is fair. Hey, no, that's fair, man. I get it. I get it.
you know?
So, but I think a new metal New Year festival would be epic. And of course, you have like Limp Bizkit headline. You know what I mean? And you get
But
Primus. You get Primus out.
Mudvayne, Slipknot,
Mudvayne, Slipknot. It's going down with the click, click, boom.
yep. I bet, Linkin
Cut
Park.
my life in two pieces.
It
This
is my
is
I
my
can't
last
get up there. That is my last resort.
suffocation, no breathing.
Yo, dude, so
I just
many.
feel like when I
And I
listen to
have all
that
their
song,
discs.
I just want to say, "Yeah, Dad." You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's
yeah.
such the teenage
It
angst
is.
song. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, yeah, dude, you could get so many good metal bands for
yeah, man, rap metal,
just
new metal, baby, new metal. We'll do a new metal New Year festival, and we have like 10 new metal bands come out. Your Mudvayne, Seether. Oh, we gotta
oh,
have Seether.
Seether. You know who I'd want? If he's still I want Dio. I wanna
But
see
Dio's
Dio
not new
live.
metal. Ronnie James Dio.
No, Dio. He's Jack Black's a big fan. He's an
Yeah, Ronnie
original.
James Dio. Yeah.
Yeah, the little guy that just
Yeah.
yeah,
Holy
yeah.
diver,
Yeah,
you've been down
oh,
too long in the
love
midnight
him, man.
sea. Dun,
He
dun.
just he's just like a goofy old school old
Ride
school
the
rocker.
tiger. Yeah.
Yeah, holy diver, bro. Holy diver. Man, I'd they'd hire him for 2,500,
Yeah, all
you
day,
know?
man. That's what I'm saying. We could have a hell of a new metal New Year festival, dude, and people would show, especially in the Midwest, where new metal is
Oh,
still, hidden. Lincoln Park is still like number one on the Oklahoma City charts.
yep,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, same here,
and
same
it's like,
here.
yeah, bro. So I'm just saying, yeah, but you understand they laugh at us in cooler places, right? Like who? Lincoln who? The kids are like,
They
wait, you mean the stuff my granddad listened to?
'Cause they don't
So
know music. They know a computer and how to hit a button, whatever the computer tells them is music, that's what they think. They don't know what music was back
that
then.
that's
They
true.
don't know what a mosh pit is for real.
I genuinely feel bad for kids that don't know about mosh pits, man. That'll teach you. That'll teach you quick. A mosh
Yeah.
pit will.
You wanna
Also,
learn?
not
Come on.
necessarily new metal, but so indicative of their time. I'd want Third Eye Blind. I really would, you know. And
Cool. Yeah. Oh,
but
man.
they're a little big. They're a little big. They're hitting for what we got.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I want all of them from back then, you know?
yes,
Bring them all. It's
I'm
just
surprised. You
what
know, because
era.
they hip hop does that. Like hip hop figured it. Like there's like a tour with like Boys to Men and Shy and Sisters with Voices, right? And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I remember growing up to that stuff. So and they're touring and they're making that money. We need to put together a new metal new year or a new metal that 90s, early 2000s turn rock
Dude,
rap, that
well,
exists
here's
still
the thing about
today in
that.
the Midwest. So yeah.
Also, where's the money? Where is money at?
I often ask
Money is
myself
in
that
our
question.
generation and up. It's
Yeah,
not in the 19, 18, 20-year-olds. That's
correct.
why whenever I did shows back in the day, I never targeted the young 21 through 30s. I wanted those 50 to 80-year-olds to love me
Fair.
because, in the country clubs, in the bars, those 50 to 80-year-olds, they're the ones that own businesses. They're the ones that are rolling. They're the ones that have the cash. They're the ones gonna throw a 20 or tip jar when they're walking out, you
Hell
know?
yeah.
Not that I mean, you gotta know where the money is to get the money too and all this. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea because that's everybody with money, that's the generation, you know?
Calderise in the building. Sorry, man. I'm missing some chats here. Shout out to Calderise. Shout out to Rundus in the building. Man, we are doing good. Sorry. We're actually running a little long, but man, I just want to catch up with you, dog. I hadn't talked to you
I
yet, and
know.
I knew I wanted
And
to talk about this
we had
stuff.
that big
We
gap,
are at an hour and a half, man.
dude, we had a phone call the other day. I didn't check the time,
Yes.
but I bet if you check the time, I bet we talked for over 2 hours.
Yeah, I was over two.
Bet you.
I
Was
remember.
it?
Well, just
Did
because,
you
like,
check?
for those that don't know, yeah, it was over two because, like, I'm always late to everything. I've always got somebody waiting on me to do the next thing I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? So, I remember, and it was our last show was done at 2. We did a tight hour, 2 Central, where I'm at time, and like at 4 o'clock, I got people like, "Where are you at? What's going on? Are you okay? Why haven't I heard from you?" Because about 3 o'clock to about 7 p.m. is when all the action in my world really gets going on most days. So and people were like, and I realized, man, we had talked till it was after 4. So
Yeah.
we had talked for 3 hours. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
dude.
saying? So I love talking to you. And I
Me
know
too,
we
bro.
can do this, man. And we will one day. We
Oh, yeah.
absolutely will.
Hey,
So
it's just like I
like
do on
3 hours.
YouTube.
We'll do a 3 hour. I don't care.
Dude, I don't either. We'll get when we get to a point where we get guests, then that's gonna be 3 hours. Even
Yeah,
though we can
man.
do 3 hour on our own, we don't need
Uh,
nobody to be real. I mean, I'll just be real.
yeah.
We don't need nobody. If they're coming in, they're welcomed in because you and I can do this forever.
Yeah, we don't need nobody. You're right about that. You know what I'm saying? That is correct. I do want to have guests, but I want it to be the right time.
The
Also,
right
man,
ones, the right time, right
yeah,
reason, all that.
absolutely. And you
We're
don't want
building
to
right.
exactly. Exactly. And I want it to be something where the guest makes sense. I don't want to just have a guest because it's a guest. I don't want to just have a
Organic.
guest because they get likes or they have a thing going. I
No,
want them to make sense for what we're doing. That's why I love what we're doing, is because it is what we're doing.
and
You know what I
organic.
Yes.
You have like just naturally, organically happen, have them, and yeah, yeah, and it's got to be a while. It'd be a while because we got to build our stuff right together, and like you said, let's get our timing, get our talking, get everything really to flow, and then a right person will just happen to
Exactly.
come in and join, and they may only have 100 followers, but
Which is fine.
if they've got a good point and something to prove or good content and just want to talk and share, hey, it don't matter how many followers you got.
And the internet is so now it has become the same thing as radio and TV, man. Some of the best writing is not on TV shows. Some of the
Oh,
best
yeah.
music is not on your radio. Some of the best podcasters, some of the best social media follows don't have 1 million views now, aren't
No.
getting pushed by YouTube and X and Facebook. These, and TikTok, these are people that are doing it right. And because of that, they're not getting rewarded by the algorithm
No.
because no one wants the truth. The problem is they're not a good their podcast is not a good connection to whatever thing, whatever ad you're going to see when we close this out or when you pop this up, whatever ad you see, right?
Mhm.
Whatever podcast gets the most eyes on that ad is the one they push. That's how this whole game works, right?
Well,
So if you're doing real stuff, you might not be good for any of their sponsors. And so you don't get as much love, but you're doing the best work. Yeah. And we,
live rounds, live rounds.
hey man, are you doing a live stream? Because man, you do your late live streams, and I hate because I miss them, right?
Everybody
Because
does.
it's like
Everybody misses them because I do
I
them
see
so
them the
late.
next day. But like, are you doing any of those anytime that we can look for?
Probably tonight.
Okay, all
Probably
right,
tonight. I've got another box here of the prospects, and I really like this break. This is a good break. It doesn't have. I mean, I pulled a Jackson Merrill, um, just base card, but they're inserts. I got 2 numbered cards of prospects that were cracked ice. Really solid, heavy cards when you get into theirs, and then I've got the blaster of the series 2. And I'm still on the Jack Cagney own. I gotta pull my own, man. That's I gotta pull my own. Yes, I have them. Yes, I got one coming that's autoed, but I just have to pull my own to feel like I've done my job as a collector.
that's fair. That's
It's just
fair.
weird. It's just my thing. But like when you're pulling stuff like that out of retail, that's all I do is retail pulls. But yes, we'll have tonight. We'll do these. And this has a guaranteed auto, and this one, well, we hope it has an auto. Doesn't guarantee it, but you
Right.
always hope. So yes, tonight.
Hell yeah. And you're going live tonight, and then I
Yep.
noticed you like to go live Friday nights. Are you maybe going live Friday night?
Well, I always go live Friday nights. It's just usually a time when nobody else is gonna be watching. You
That's
know,
fair.
I do these times that are odd, and I follow my flow.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If I feel if I'm feeling good and I'm feeling in a groove and it's just got that sort of thing, then I get on. And then I pull an auto. And then I pulled an auto the other one when I was doing basketball. I pulled that basketball auto, which shouldn't have been in that. Um, so I feel these grooves and I just get on them whatever time. It's never between 7 and noon.
Correct.
Never. That's my bedtime. 7 a.m. to noon is my bedtime, except on Wednesdays. I gotta get
We're
up
gonna
a little.
start doing a morning show. We're gonna start at 6, an hour before you
Oh,
go to bed.
no, I've seen shows like that where guys fall asleep during the
Yeah,
show.
no, I wouldn't do that. No, no, no.
I wouldn't do that to you.
What I like is that tweaky, like I haven't slept and I'm grumpy and edgy feeling, and then you're like, "Yeah, let's go." You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I
So
yeah, I don't think I'll ever bring well, maybe it just depends on the subject, but I think what you see the last 2 weeks is what you get.
yeah, no, and that's cool. No, no, no. I know. I'm just talking
I I
shit at
wish
this
I
point,
wish there but that'd be dumb, there'd be no reason to get mad. You got no reason.
right? Yeah, no, it'd be fun. It'd be like, man, I'm tired. Man, I'm tired too, man. You know what? We don't need to do this right now.
Hey, hey, everybody, on lunchtime, why don't we all just take an hour nap together?
Let- Let's just pause, y'all. You know what I mean? I know most of y'all are headed to your day jobs, but you know what? Just take a moment, lay your head down at your cubicle, refresh yourself.
That's right. Go find a
Tell your
patch of
boss to
grass.
talk to us. You know what I mean? Tell your boss to drop a chat, and
Yeah.
we'll talk to him for you.
Give us a follow, give us a like, join us every Wednesday. Every Wednesday.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everybody.
Do that. And guys, I want to thank you so much for listening. Make sure you tune in right here to PT Pod tomorrow night on Rumble, my personal page on Instagram. we will be doing the part 3 of 3 for the Stars Under the Stars event. And Saturday night, I will be live if you want to come see me live. I might need security. I'm going to be wearing the vest. I will be live in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Stars Under the Stars event at the
Yes.
Black Box Theater, Tulsa. So very excited about that.
Awesome.
Shout out to all of our listeners. Guys, thank you so much. This has been show number 2, and we will be coming to you next week live. And you know the thing, man, I'm going to talk to Vern if we have the chance and the time, which I don't know about this week, but we might do some secret live streams. Just drop in. You might not know. You got to tune in. You got to like, share. You got to hit those notifications on. And then that way you know. And we're going live, and it's going to be great. So,
And also, if it's okay with you, there
of
will
course.
be giveaways.
Yes, giveaways.
You know, I mean, we've got oh, I caught that mic. That's good. We've got things like, you know,
Ooh, live from Nebraska. You're on mute, Bubba. You're on mute. Still
okay.
mute. There you
So
go.
there's an album or EP that we put out, and this actually has the theme song
Yes.
for the NoOner show on it.
Hell yeah. White Trash Man is
Why,
featured on this CD that you can win.
Yep.
That you can win, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
How? You're going to have to tune in next week and we'll tell you. Oh, we're going to tell you. And you're going to know. And then you're going to tell your friends. And then you're all going to tune in at noon on Wednesdays to win. I want actually hold one of those for me. I don't want you to give them all away. I want one. So,
You got one, bro. Don't worry.
all right, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the NoOner Show every Wednesday at noon Mountain, 1 Central, 2 East, 11 Western. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Oh boy.